What if I told you that Annie had a real-life counterpart that could have inspired the popular Roblox Creepypasta? Many would say that the creepypasta Annie is fake. A lot of people actually would say that. Everybody should actually say that. While creepypastas are inherently just campfire stories meant to scare people, many creepypastas are often based on urban legends. Annie is no different. So if you don't know who Annie is, I've done a full reading of the story. So if you want to listen to the creepypasta, I've left a link to that in my description below. I also made a theory video about how Annie is very likely to be a little girl suffering from schizophrenia, and everything around her is just an illusion. So to recap the story, a Roblox user who may or may not be Herschel Layton encounters a girl named 4N1, which is leet speak for Annie. Annie keeps sending this user very dark and disturbing messages like, "Have you ever eaten a raw dog?" In the end of the story, the Roblox user finds an entity burning alive with a grotesque smile on its face. Now, this is just a creepypasta, right? While that is true, however, I happen to stumble across an urban legend from a Reddit post asking about the scariest urban legend they've heard about. And a comment just so happens to have a similar story and tragedy to that of Annie. This urban legend is known as the Legend of Black Annie. The story takes place around the 1920s to 1930s, Boonville, Indiana, almost 100 years ago. There was a young 19-year-old girl named Annie Carter. Not much was known about her other than she was the mayor's servant at the time. The mayor owned a mansion in the middle of the woods. This would later be called the Scales Lake Park, which was named after the mayor. On one fateful day, however, the mayor and his wife had left for a social event. Annie was left alone to take care of the house. When the family returned, they had found the mansion mysteriously burnt to the ground. The fire was so fierce that not much of the house remained. The ending of this urban legend has two different versions, one where Annie's body was never found, and the other where her body was found, where she had been burned alive. The story doesn't end there for Annie. It seems as though Annie's ghost stayed in that area for some time after, just like in the creepypasta. After the Second World War, a group of soldiers were driving onto a newly built road that was nearby where the mansion had been burned down. When one of the soldiers looked in the back of the truck, they saw her. She was covered in a dark cloak and her face was partially covered by it. A little while later, Annie had vanished, leaving the soldiers in shock. This was the first sighting of Annie, and soon the legend became known as Black Annie because of her dark cloak she was allegedly seen wearing. The residents of Boonville to this day still report seeing her ghost, wearing that dark cloak that covers her. Some witnesses claim to hear footsteps following them in the woods, and they get increasingly closer, but when they look around, there is nothing there. In some extreme circumstances though, the ghost of Annie has been seen jumping on top of people's cars and then disappearing into the woods. She can be seen walking around the cemetery she was buried in, and around the building where she died. The home where she lived did exist at one point, giving some credibility to this story. So if you're brave enough to go to the Black Annie Walk, which is an annual event dedicated to searching for her, then make sure to always look behind you. While this urban legend of Black Annie is more closely similar to the Roblox Creepypasta Annie, it is far from being the only urban legend about an Annie. Around the world, multiple Annies have become urban legends. The legend of Black Annie, or sometimes called Annis, is a story about a woman named Annie who lost her children in a house fire. This legend originates in Carmi, Illinois. It's said that if a child wanders into an alley at night, Annie will grab the unfortunate victim and take them into the darkness of the night to do horrific things. There is also Headless Annie from the Appalachia. This urban legend is a tale of a miner who had a 12-year-old daughter named Annie. The miner was dissatisfied with the working conditions of the coal mines, and him and a group of miners organized a strike against the company. Many of the miners who refused to work were silenced by the company, and on one fateful day, the company had sent people to silence Annie's father. The story has two variations, one where they killed the miner's wife and Annie in front of the miner, or in another version, where the parents are murdered in front of Annie. The outcome is the same, however. After their gruesome death, many locals have reported seeing the ghost of a girl asking for help on the side of the road at night. If the driver ignores Annie's cry for help, Annie will simply appear in the back seat of the car and in her white dress, but with no head to be seen. In extreme cases, Annie has also been reported to jump on top of people's cars. If we travel to Edinburgh in the United Kingdom, to Mary King Close, you will find the sad story of Annie's doll. In the 90s, during a production about haunted places in Britain, Aiko Giebel, a famous psychic at the time, visited Mary King Close. When exploring one of the rooms, she could not enter it, because she could feel the sadness and unhappiness emanating from it. Once she was able to enter the room, she was able to make contact and communicate with the spirit. The spirit had told her that her name was Annie. Annie had said that she had lost her favorite doll, and was separated from her family. She had been abandoned. Aiko bought a doll from a gift shop and gave it to the spirit. Aiko claims that the doll gave Annie comfort, and as long as the doll remains where it was, the ghost of Annie would not haunt that area. Tourists from around the world come and visit this area, and leave a doll as a sign of respect. Then there's Annie's Road. This urban legend originates from New Jersey, and is based off of very real events. This was also featured on the site Weird New Jersey. The road that is mentioned here is located in Riverview Drive, and has been given the nickname Reefer Road. This road is known for being a tricky road to drive on. There have been severe car accidents and people have lost their lives on that road. So how did that road obtain the name Annie's Road? The story goes that a girl named Annie had been walking home from prom, and she was run over by a large truck that had dragged her body 50 feet on the road. It's said that her blood can still be seen on the road and guardrails to this day. This, of course, has spun off many rumors about the incident. A lot of people claim to see the ghost of Annie on the road. It's said that she appears in all white and will fade away as quickly as she appeared. On that same road, there's a cemetery where she was buried. It's said that a flickering light will appear in that area. There is also another rumor that her father repaints the road red every year, on the day before she died. Now, if you just so happen to be in that area, there is supposedly a trick that can summon Annie. If you drive on the road at 12 a.m. and play older music, while driving in the middle of the road with your lights off, then you can see her in the rearview mirror. This probably shouldn't be done on Annie's Road, or any road in general. There is a more lighthearted rumor to this tragic story. Some say that Annie is a guardian who protects people walking on the road, and will warn drivers who are speeding too fast. This serves as a cautionary tale to always be careful on any road you're on. So whether you're a thrill seeker or a paranormal researcher, be careful on Annie's Road, because if Annie doesn't get you, then the dwarves that allegedly exist in that area probably will.